if this video gets 4,000 likes, I will do that video where I talk about my DCA audition. So make sure that you click that like button. Good morning. As promised, I will be sharing my experience the very first time I auditioned for a DCA drum and bugle corps. Okay, so first of all, some of you might not know what DCA is. DCA stands for Drum Corps Associates. That is the circuit. And this circuit of drum corps is all age. It can be any age you want. It can be freaking 1 to like 101. From my experience in DCA, I've never seen anyone younger than 14 march a DCA corps, and I've never seen anyone older than like 60 march. That's about the age range that we're dealing with here. So marching a season of DCA was definitely a very cool experience. So it's only on weekends. Like, you get your weekdays free still. It's just every single weekend you're at drum corps. And I get a lot of questions about this. Like, people ask like, oh, is DCA like anywhere near as good as DCI? Or like, is it as good as an open class corps, and is an open class corps as good as a world class corps? Well, that's a topic for a whole different video, and if this video gets 5,000 likes, I will do a video on what the difference is between DCA, Open Class Corps, World Class Corps, and WGI, because I've done all 4 of them. So my senior year of high school, 2007, I tried out for the cadets, and I got cut. I made a whole entire video about that experience. You should totally check that out right after this video. So my first mistake was that I didn't think that I could go audition at another place after that. I thought like, okay, everyone does their auditions, like their first like 1 or 2 camps, then they have the line set, that's it. That's not true, like, whatsoever. There's a lot of corps that are still looking like to fill out their membership, like even into the summer, or just replace people who aren't that good with better people. But I didn't know that. I thought I took my chance with cadets, didn't get in, and now I'm just not gonna march. So it was like April, and we were in, towards the end of the indoor drumline season, and I was talking to my high school instructors about this, and my entire high school staff that year, they all were vets of the Bushwhackers Drum and Bugle Corps. And they were like, dude, like, why don't you just go march Bushwhackers? Like, we all marched there, and you would probably be a good fit for them. And me, like, not knowing much about it, I was, like, concerned, like, well, they probably have, like, a full drumline already, and they're probably already done learning their show and everything. Like, would they even need me? My instructor said I should just email them and ask. Like, it couldn't hurt to ask, and that's the advice I'm giving all of you. Like, if you got cut, or if you, like, missed tryouts, it never hurts to ask. Any corps you want to audition for, send them an email, see if they have a spot open, and if you're really, like, legitimately interested, maybe you'll be able to do it. So I did that. I sent him my email. I was like, hi, my name's Eric. I'm a tenor player. I go to this high school, and I might be interested in marching tenors for your fine organization. And within, like, an hour, I got a response to this email. They told me, like, absolutely, yes, come out this weekend. I was like, whoa, this escalated really quickly there. So the Bushwhackers, at the time, they rehearsed in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, which is basically right outside of New York City. And I lived right outside of Philadelphia, so this was like a 2-hour drive almost for me to get to this rehearsal. And I shared in that cadets audition video that me driving to that school, which was 45 minutes away, that was the furthest I had ever driven at that time. So now I'm breaking that record. I'm gonna drive like 2 hours away from my house to this place I've never been to. And I didn't have a GPS at the time. This was 2007, and I was certain. I knew I was gonna get lost trying to find this place. Like, those exits coming off the Jersey Turnpike, you're like all kinds of spinning around and getting confused. Like, it's a challenge, folks. It's a challenge. So I left really, really early. I think I left my house at like 3 o'clock, and it was like a 2-hour drive, and I would've got there at 5, and the rehearsal didn't start until 7. But I knew I was gonna get lost for at least an hour, so that's why I left that early. Okay, I'm on my merry way to this rehearsal, and the place is called Ridgefield Park. Now, in my mind, I'm imagining like, an actual park. So I'm doing good driving so far. I get up to where the exit is, and I see this big sign, Ridgefield Park, exit here. So I'm reading my like handheld MapQuest directions printed out, and I'm like watching the signs, and I'm driving around, get off the exit, and I get to where it says to go. this is not a park, like, at all. There was like all these like random buildings. One of them was a movie theater, but there was like this huge parking lot that looked like it hadn't been paved in years. I was like, all right, this can't be the right place, but like I saw the sign, like all the signs told me to go here, and like directions say I should go here. I must be like close. Like, let me like get out and look around a little bit. I remember I like got out of my car and I just walked like around the area, and I actually asked like a couple people. I was like, hey, is there like a sports complex or like a park around here? And they're all like super confused. They're like, nah, no, there's nothing like that. I was like, man, like I must be like really lost in the wrong place. So I like called up like the contact I had, and I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm like here, but I don't see anybody, and like there's no park, like I don't really know where I am. And the guy was like, oh no, you're in the right place, like you're really, really early. I was like, really? I'm on like this like crappy like parking lot that's like falling apart. He's like, yep, that's our rehearsal field. And I started looking around it, and I noticed like there are like spray painted yard lines on this crappy parking lot. I'm like, oh, okay then. And then like as I'm on the phone with this guy, I hear like a trumpet like off in the distance, and like a couple other guys that were in the Bushwhackers, they like just showed up and were like warming up or whatever. So like I went over and talked to them, and I told them like, oh, I'm like the new tenor player, I'm like coming out. And they're like, oh, you're the new tenor player. Wow, okay, all right, awesome. And as I talked to more and more people, they all had like the same reaction, like, oh, you're the new tenor player. You're the new tenor player. Like everybody knew that there was a new tenor player coming out, and they're like putting a face to the name now. And then I asked them, I was like, yeah, where do we go to sleep at night? Like, where is like the housing site at? So nowadays, present time Bushwhackers is a lot different than 2007 Bushwhackers. Like I taught there from 2012 to 2015, and through all of that time, we legitimately had like housing sites that we slept in. In 2007, we didn't have any of that. Everyone slept at each other's houses. When I found that out, I was like a little bit like concerned. Like I was like, oh crap, like I have to like sleep at like a complete stranger's house. That is a little bit weird. Because remember, I'm like all by myself. Like nobody from like my school program wanted to come do this with me. Okay, so then someone went and unlocked the truck for me to get a set of drums out to practice on. And I thought that trailer was just like something somebody abandoned in this parking lot. So I got out a set of tenors. I played for like 45 minutes. I was still like way early for this rehearsal. And then finally like some guys like from the drum line came over and met me. And I had practiced for like 45 minutes. I was just like sitting down at this point because I was like kind of bored of practicing. So these guys start getting their drums out and start hacking around, and I'm just sitting there like kind of watching, just hanging out. And then I'm like, all right, I guess I'll play again. I played like probably just like 2 flam drags or something, like a really short lick, and then everyone just freaked out. And I was like really confused. I was like, what happened? Like, what did I do? And I was like, dude, you're good. You have chops. We're so happy. Like everybody in this drum corps was like expecting a tenor player to come out, and they didn't know if I was any good or not. And then I played like a couple flam drags, and obviously I am good enough. And that's a good lesson for all of you. If somebody doesn't know if you're good or not, just play a couple of flam drags. That'll tell them that you're good. So then the rest of the tenor line finally shows up. It was this guy Rob and this kid Floyd, who was my age, who was also Rob's student, like at the high school he taught. So now Rob was the tech, but he was also like the center tenor player. That happens sometimes in senior corps. It's not ideal, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So for the rest of this Friday night rehearsal, we just like played through some of the exercises, we hung out and talked. These guys were really cool and nice, and they told me that I could sleep at their house, which I was like pretty relieved with that because I was like kind of worried I'd be staying at like some weirdo's house, but nobody in this drum corps was really weirdos. Like everyone was relatively normal for drum corps people. So after just that like one night of rehearsal, like I already knew that I had a spot in this drum corps, and I was like really excited, and I didn't realize that it was like that easy to get in. So like I said, if you're interested in marching but you waited too long or you got cut, you never know like what spots are open. Like reach out to all the corps around you, especially the open class and the DCA corps, because they might have spots open still. Okay, so rehearsal ended and we left and we went to get, some food. This is when I learned of the joys of Quick Check. Now this place is alright, it's not quite as good as Wawa or Sheetz, but it gets the job done.
Day 2.
So we all stayed the night at Rob's house, and then in the morning we went back up to the rehearsal. Now Saturday was an all-day long rehearsal, and we were learning new drill for everyone, which was good because I was brand new and I was learning as they were learning. Like I didn't have to catch up too much with most of the show music. But for the stuff I was like behind on, I was starting to pick up like pretty quickly, and everybody saw that and was pretty relieved that they got someone like me in there in the tenor line. So all the rest of Saturday was just kind of like your stock, like regular drum corps day. It was pretty hot out, it was kind of exhausting, but it was a fun-filled, action-packed day of band.
safely.
So then Sunday comes around, it's just kind of more of the same, but we end at, I think it was 5 o'clock, and of course we got our morning breakfast at Quick Check. Gotta go to Quick Check, folks, unless you have Wawa sheets by you. So Sunday was great, it was fine, it was kind of more of the same as Saturday, just like learning drill and putting music to it. So at the end of this rehearsal weekend, you know, all of the staff came up to me and they were like, yeah, like we really want you like to come back and do this. And I was like, well, I really want to come back and do this. So everybody wanted to come back and do this. It worked out very nicely. So there's the story. My entire first weekend of marching DCA. It was a pretty much 100% positive experience, except for like the nervousness of getting there at the beginning. But the rest of it turned out really, really good, like a lot better than I was expecting. So once again, I can't emphasize it enough. It is not too late for you to try to get into a drum corps. I guess it depends when you're watching this video. If you're watching it right when it comes out, this is the end of January right now, like it's definitely not too late. If you're watching it in like a couple months, it's still not too late. If you're watching this in like August, then it's probably too late. And if you noticed behind me here, we got a new addition to our farm. We have our first female identifying chicken. This lovely woman currently does not have a name. But I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to decide. Compose a comment below with a name for this chicken. And I will choose my favorite name that one of you guys suggests. And also, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that Liberty bell and click that like button. And also consider buying a custom t-shirt such as this one. I will leave the link in the description. And have a good morning.